Makeine, Too Many Losing Heroines is missing something. I don't mean that metaphorically or ambiguously, I mean that it's incomplete enough to prevent me from seeing it as the amazing show everyone says it is. This may seem a little bit crazy considering Makeine was the anime people were talking about for summer 2024. Hailed as the new gold standard for realistic romance in anime, it rivaled Oshinoko Season 2 in popularity and acclaim due to its equal composition of emotional depth and novel ideas. And the execution was absolutely masterclass. There's no denying that objectively, Makeine has some of the best visuals in anime, full stop. Its sound design is nothing to scoff at either. It's on point and adds to solidifying Makeine as a technical marvel, even amongst contemporary anime. Despite this, Makeine literally cannot make up the difference for what it lacks: exceptional writing. Upon hearing this, I'm sure some of you have just fainted out of anger and are out cold in your chairs. Like, what I'm claiming doesn't even make sense. This anime got popular because of its immense maturity of its writing and relationships and riveting drama, so how could it be one of its weakest aspects? Okay, bear with me for a second. There's two main things that bother me writing-wise. Firstly is its inability to maintain tone. Now, this isn't inherently a bad thing. In fact, a lot of remarkable stories shift tone multiple times and make for more compelling narratives because of this. Think of Mob Psycho. However, Makeine is not representative of this phenomenon. Drama rom-coms have this particularly annoying habit of making emotionally heavy scenes palatable with scenes preluding or following them that are full with high energy moments. When you've watched an unhealthy amount of this genre as I have, you grow desensitized to it. However, it still manages to piss me off. It's seriously jarring to witness a heartfelt conversation where the characters struggle and attempt to lay their emotions bare to one another, only to then be undercut by jumping straight into an interaction with a literal fucking bimbo zombie. As much as one can expect this level of strangeness in anime, it still doesn't lighten the undermining it does for the ethos of the story, and I can't say for sure that it was worth diminishing the impact of the drama, which is literally the anime's narrative selling point, for the sake of palatability. This dissonance is especially prevalent in episode 6, where Nukumizu and Co go out to check on Lemon, who ran to the countryside to be depressed, only to then get lost and dick around near a river. Why did they even bother to go and check on her if it isn't that urgent to them? Whatever tension or care the viewer had regarding Lemon is instantly evaporated, and consequently, the arc carries less emotional weight. It's hard to take Makeine seriously at all when at times it seems like it doesn't even want to take itself seriously. Secondly is its characterization. Before you find my address and send me lovely fan mail containing pipe bombs, I want you to take a breath and guess which character I'm going to talk about. Is it the poster girl Anna and the gap between her pig-like eating habits and emotional wisdom that is way beyond her years? Is it Lemon, who throughout the series gets reduced to a hot tomboy that likes to run? Or is it Komari, the femcel archetype that was the only one to get me to laugh sometimes, yet whose arc I found myself not quite invested in? No, it's our main character, if you can call him that, Nukumizu. For some of you, it's likely that you were actually able to guess or feel out who I was going to talk about, but it's also equally likely that some of you weren't able to because you literally fucking forgot about his existence. Nukumizu's role in the story is one of impasse. He's the isolated bystander meant to reflect what the viewer is in these types of stories. He acts as the emotional clutch for every girl in the story, listening to their problems and allowing them to really dig into what they're feeling. In order to fulfill this role, Nukumizu is very passive in his interactions, and usually lets the rest of the cast direct the show. Let's get one thing straight. I don't hate Nukumizu's character bones. I think that the insecurity that reflects on his reserved attitude through life can make for a compelling character arc, where through some form of gaining self-confidence, he gets more involved with the plot directly and is able to make the impact that he wants to have. However, the author's addiction to subverting tropes seems to go full circle here, stripping so much agency of Nukumizu that he literally becomes the archetypal definition of the self-insert. Nukumizu fully becomes a clean slate to be projected upon for the viewer to imagine as if they were there alongside the girls, which the beautiful direction of the anime also regrettably supports. This is bar mentioning the other forms of wish fulfillment of where all the craziest tropes happen to Nukumizu because he is the main character. It feels like those moments of fan service are his only prominent role in the series for the viewer to live vicariously through him. His impact on the actual plot is so minuscule that I actually question the reasoning for his existence in general, because at this point it would make more sense to just have the girls be the main characters and focus on their interactions with each other. But since this is a rom-com, it necessitates a main character, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Despite the first season's general platonicness of the relationships, this is a rom-com. One of the girls will end up with Nukumizu, and if that doesn't happen, I'll give one of my subscribers $500. Subscribers is generous. Side tangent, I don't quite get what role Kaji is supposed to serve outside of just being there for cute factor, and don't say that the little sister trope can't serve any literary purpose. Think Komachi from Orogairu. Okay, I'm sure that there are a number of you writing a spiteful comment about how I'm wrong that Nukumizu doesn't have development, and that at each end of an arc like in Komari's, he self-actualizes and makes decisions on his own accord. See, you would be right if you were right. Confusing? Yes, but on purpose, because that's how I felt each time Nukumizu's supposed character development through those types of scenes regressed back to the status quo of unassertiveness. Despite these breakthrough moments for Nukumizu, the plot always has him go back to how he was before. Sometimes it has him lay even heavier into his cowardice and compliance. For someone who is supposed to have gone through the growth of getting closer to another person, achieving empathy and mutual understanding, it's odd that it causes the same person so much distress to even fathom the possibility of flirting or, God forbid, attraction from the other party. And trust me, it doesn't get that much better in the light novels. In spite of my misgivings of its literary structure, I don't actually have any issues with the other content in the story, melodrama included. I think the conversations had and the messages imparted are overall fine and in fact are stellar compared to other animes in its season. And that may be due to my general enjoyment of the show because I really liked watching it. I mean, this shit is right up my alley. It's a story that is heavily influenced by the post-Otakaido light novel scene, and I adore that story and all its faults. I think it's important to differentiate between personal enjoyment and taking an objective look at art because it can be easy to conflate the two. It would be insane for me to say that Makeine doesn't deserve all the love it's gotten because of some subpar writing, since it's very clear why people would like it. It's pure catharsis for the feelings of unrequited love and moving on, and I think that's awesome. I just wish that the areas where the writing falls short would be lifted up, so I could say that this was a generally perfect anime. And ironically, a lot of these problems would be fixed if the author just had confidence in their writing. The strong ideas present are bogged down only by the unnecessary tropes shoehorned in. Partially, that isn't his fault since the light novel market is less dependent on prose and quality, and more so predicates on the amount of interesting ideas packed into one novel. That's why light novels often have the most clickbait-ass titles because that's exactly what they are. And it's these clickbait-ass titles that got Makeine such a great adaptation that it surpasses the quality of the source material, because the issues I have here are worse there. Overall, Makeine is a good show that had a lot of potential to be something more. It's a nice addition to the niche of drama-oriented rom-coms, but isn't really genre redefining as there are other shows that take what Makeine emulates and does it 10 times better. Yet I still find myself appreciating that it still managed to expose another large sum of people to this style of show that I find myself particularly weak to. Scoring-wise, Makeine is a solid 75 to 80. Look forward to more shitty videos.